The conditions hotter here today than they were yesterday. Get ready for some brutal racing.
Athletes, you are now in the hands of the starter.
On your mark.
A little bit of a slow start for Martin van Riel, as you can see closest to your screen. He does have a little bit of work to do to get back to the front of this swim, but being the swimmer he is, he's already there straight away. You can see Kyle Smith ducked in behind. Two very clear groups already starting to establish themselves. One closest to your screen, one over to the right. We saw yesterday with the women that things came together pretty quickly. Martin van Riel, he had a slow start and he's already straight to the front of this swim. You can see Yuri Kulin directly to his right, leading the sort of middle group. Kyle Smith is the one in the red cap behind Martin van Riel, closest to your screen in the orange cap.
So to the middle of your screen at the very top is where that bucket is placed. There are ice bags in there. Let's see if anybody goes past and grabs himself some ice to keep cool. Nope.
Rico Bogan. Of course, though. Rico Bogan, these are brutally hot conditions for him. Fred Funk's in the lead group. He's in front, 2 positions in front of Kyle Smith. Ben Canute at the end of that group.
Dave McNamee on the back of that pack. His retirement race. Wish the best for him.
A very strong front group, though. Martin van Riel leading the chase. Aaron Royal in second. Alistair Brownlee in third. It was Rico Bogan who grabbed the ice in fourth. Yuri Kulin in fifth. You can see Magnus is just coming out of the water there. And you can see that Sam Long makes his way through the Australian exit. He is 2 minutes and 3 seconds back halfway through the swim. We know historically in the T100 World Tour that whatever your gap is after lap 1, it does tend to extend. So it's 2 minutes and 3 seconds after the first kilometre.
About to tackle the beach, as did 3,000 age groupers this morning. It's so good. Triathlon seems to be in a healthy space here in Dubai as our first men come into a transition to Aaron Royal leading them out. Rico Bogan, Alistair Brownlee, Martin van Riel, Fred Funk.
Yuri Kulin was right in there as well.
Kyle Smith a little bit further back in that group. Justice Neuschlag was there as well.
But let's watch this transition. Not super smooth by Martin, making sure everything goes in the box, choosing to put his socks on first, which will help him in transition 2. That's a smart move. Alistair Brownlee straight out, not taking that time.
You can see
and
Kyle
thank
Smith.
God Kyle Smith has got a liner in that suit, because otherwise, well, let's not go there.
Inspired from Christian Blumenfeld's Tokyo Olympic gold medal winning suit, I'm told.
Martin van Riel is the last of the group.
This is Mathis Magirier, I think. So, in fact, it's him leading the race. Alistair Brownlee currently in second. Mathis Magirier keeping that pace on at the front and making it really hard for someone the likes of Magnus Ditlev, who was just out of touch with this lead group as he came out of the swim. But keeping that pace on early means it's going to be even harder for Magnus to make contact and make his way to the front.
In order to not get in trouble with drafting, and he is. He's once again showing he is a very strong swim, bike, and runner.
It looks like he's having to work pretty hard to get round Alistair there, so that was a big effort that he's put in to make his way up to second overall at this point.
As we see Magnus making his first pass, that looks like Ben Canute. He's picking up the first straddlers off the back, and that is what Magnus does. He just plays a patient game. He reads his numbers. He comes around. Dave McNamee here. Dave sees him coming. He's going to leave the... Oh, Jesus, you think these guys get paid by the near misses? That was close.
Martin van Riel sitting in probably the perfect position there in third behind Alistair Brownlee, just ahead of Rico Bogan on screen. A huge test for Rico Bogan today. These conditions, historically, are probably his worst enemy, but as it stands right now, he is at the front of the bike.
Fred Funk coming around on. This is interesting because it looks like Rico is correctly spaced, so that means Fred Funk has to go around Martin van Riel as well. And Martin van Riel doesn't look too far off Alistair's wheel either.
So Kyle Smith has managed to just bit by bit, metre by metre, second by second, as he jumps over that speed bump and loses his bottle. Not again, that happened yesterday too. Then nearly hits the cone. That speed bump it's a very, very sharp speed bump. They've done their best to ramp it, but you can't really ramp a speed bump that steep. So that's not a good sign for Kyle Smith, especially given that he was already hovering off the back of this bike. And
look at that yellow rubber band he's got. That's what the athletes put on the bottle cages in order to not lose a bottle. Then he looks to the side. Oh my gosh, near miss again.
I think, as it's shown earlier on this season with the hot races here, that
Puncture.
Is it a puncture?
Do you have to help in this position? What on earth, Sam? What goes through your head here?
This is complicated. He just has to stay calm. I've heard that it was so hot that the tires were 47 degrees down in transition. The sun and the UV is so strong right now.
It looked like the seat post actually, and not really a puncture.
Yeah. So he seems very composed though. Magnus seems quite. I mean, he doesn't look like he's overly stressing or telling them, shouting at them or anything, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things we've also been talking quite much about, is that he needs to also believe in his run. Like, I mean, people sometimes forget that he has been running 2:34 in marathons as well, and also been running really well at the T100 races.
Group of 6 that has formed. Kyle Smith and Martin Van Riel are in it. Magnus Ditlev, he has had a little bit of a mechanical.
Here we go, as you called it.
There over that speed bump. That's happened to Kyle Smith and Martin Van Riel on that exact same speed bump. So our two big favourites coming into this race both have lost a nutritional bottle on that speed bump. Perfectly on cue as the magic man himself, Fred Funk, the newlywed, makes his way to the front of the race.
Just such a thing of constant focus as well. I mean, there's just no chance to switch off mentally. You know, every lap demands focus and that adaptability as well, which, you know, can amplify the exhaustion as the race unfolds, because it's not just the physical battle, the mental strain of navigating every turn as efficiently as possible really is something that can wear you down, and a test of who can adapt on the fly.
Van Riel, your current series leader, two-time champion, he sits just ahead of Kyle Smith. They've just sat on the back of this lead group pretty much the entire bike since the very early stages, that is, and it looks to me like Martin Van Riel and Kyle Smith have resigned themselves to the fact that they're going to be involved in another run battle together, just like they were in San Francisco.
And we're seeing Magnus Ditlev trying to fit bottle number 8, 9 and 10 onto his bike. I mean, it's incredible how much fluid he has taken on. I know some of it is aerodynamic. Oh, flick of the wrist just to get the bottle.
Yesterday all over again.
Backspin
well,
on that one,
he's put some spin onto the bottle now.
Here they come, Sam.
That would be amazing. I mean, this is it. This is where the race is going to get really serious. We've got different tactics. Some guys have already got socks on, so Martin will probably get out really fast. But let's have a look. Let's have a look how they look off the run. Rico looks great, really light on his feet. Freddie, he has a more kind of shorter stance and more of a strength runner, but they all look good. I think they probably slowed on the last part of the ride, and they're just getting ready for the real deal. And here, talking about the real deal, here he comes. So Martin's obviously got socks on already. He's going to be out really fast. They've got different tactics. So Kyle here has to put his socks on. He's got everything, all the white suit. The sun is really tapping down on these athletes now, and Martin is already off. Martin and Rico, classic. Rico always so fast to get out, and hopefully this time he can kind of hold it back. Freddie out in third, and Matisse and Kyle together, so. And Alistair just hopefully pacing it a little bit better than he did in Miami. I think this could be an amazing day for Alistair. He's done everything right so far, and yeah, we're just now hopefully going to wait for Magnus. Magnus has a slightly different strategy here. He's got an actual cool box in his transition.
So here Magnus comes, we'll just watch him and just see how he gets on, and then we will leave it to Magnus. So with a bit of work to do here, Sam.
Magnus looks very fresh coming off the bike. Obviously everyone's suffering, but Magnus has done his own race. He's had some misfortune here on the bike, and I think now he'll just pace his own run and slowly pick them off one by one. He's had great runs every race so far this year.
There we go, let's see how they get on, Sam. Let's jump back out.
That is Alistair Brownlee's shoe. So he was right at the front off the bike and had to go back to get that shoe to avoid a littering penalty, or rather it would have been actually equipment outside of the box, wouldn't it?
2 from 2. If you remember transition 1, he dropped his bottles, he went back. So Alistair Brownlee has probably lost. He didn't get a penalty this time.
Alistair Brownlee, 17 seconds down from these 3 lead men. Rico Bogan, who has never raced this well in the heat in his life. This is without the doubt the best he's ever handled these conditions. So clearly the work he's been doing in training, the brutal heat prep that he's been doing, that his team's told us he's been doing, is paying dividends. And Martin Van Riel and Kyle Smith just holding on right now.
Kyle Smith, to me, looks like he's not really enjoying this pace anymore. I feel like his head has started to go back a little bit. Doesn't look quite as relaxed as he did, but if you look at all 3 men, they're beginning to show the pain on their face. This pace is hot. Who is going to be the first to crack?
The Triathlon World Series, and we go back to the front of the race, and Kyle Smith is dropping. Martin Van Riel is making a very, very clear move here at the front of the race. Rico Bogan, the young German 70.3 world champion, fighting to hang on, and Kyle Smith, one of the big pre-race favourites, he's dropping. Can Martin Van Riel finish this decisive move and end Kyle Smith's chance of winning here today at the grand final in Dubai? This is a massive moment in today's race.
The pain these guys are going through right now.
And you can see with this overhead shot that Alistair Brownlee has reduced that gap to 10 seconds for the first time today. And Vicky, what you said, Alistair Brownlee, he smells blood. That's not an exaggeration. And we're back to the front of the race. Martin Van Riel is making one final move, one final big move to try and drop the young German Rico Bogan. It's 10 metres, 12 metres. Is this the final decisive move of the day from Martin Van Riel, or can Rico Bogan fight back one last time?
But we have got 2 action-packed moments back to back as Alistair Brownlee runs himself onto a podium position or thereabout for the first time ever.
Oh,
no. Oh, my.
As he's tried to turn the corner in the super shoes, the high stack super shoes, he has tripped over right as he was about to make the pass on Kyle Smith. Will that be decisive? Is there any little injury or niggle? Alistair Brownlee, he seems to have recovered. He was up so quickly and he's already back onto the shoulder of Kyle Smith. Alistair Brownlee makes the pass on Kyle Smith. He just fell, less than 1 kilometre to go. Kyle Smith knew something happened behind him. I don't think he had any idea it was that Alistair Brownlee had hit the deck though. So does he know? Here we're going to get a replay to see exactly what happened. So Alistair Brownlee, as he goes to the, it was a little bit of gravel. Did Kyle Smith, Kyle Smith did see it. He just had that little look over his shoulder. So he knew that Alistair Brownlee hit the deck. Will that do anything to his mentality? Alistair Brownlee and Kyle Smith, both of their faces, you can see how badly they're suffering up this hill. One last time with just over 1 kilometre to go in the battle for the podium here, the final spot on the podium. And it looks like Kyle Smith has cracked. It looks like Alistair Brownlee has cracked Kyle Smith. He looks over his shoulder and sees that he has distanced Kyle Smith. This is a huge moment in today's race, and Kyle Smith is gone. That's the podium right there. Alistair Brownlee, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, has cemented his spot on the podium here in the T100 Dubai Grand Final. And Martin Van Riel, his debut season on the T100 World Tour, the debut season of the T100 World Tour. A 3-time champion, the biggest of them all here at Dubai in the grand final. He is your champion and new world champion, Martin Van Riel, everybody. What a race from the champion today. And what a race from this young German sensation. He has proved everyone wrong. All of us here in commentary included. Rico Bogan, second place at the grand final here in Dubai. What a performance from the young German. Huge from him today. And maybe no story is as heartwarming as this. Alistair Brownlee fighting like he has never fought before on the T100 World Tour to cement his spot on the podium. He's going to take 3rd place here today. For lifelong triathlon fans, you'll know how special this is.
To have a huge result at this point in his career is so special. He's had so many injury, illness problems, and he is back. He is back on the podium.
Third place for Alistair Brownlee here at the T100 Grand Final in Dubai. What a moment for Alistair Brownlee, and what a moment for triathlon. An absolute legend of the sport. Well, I was definitely one of those people who questioned Rico Bogan in the heat, as we all were, to be honest, and he proved us wrong today. You can see his name there up in lights in second. However, Martin van Riel was the big victor today, taking out not only the win but the overall World Championship. What a race from Martin van Riel, and the fastest run of the day, 58 minutes and 26 seconds. Alistair Brownlee, two-time Olympic champion. What an honour it is to have him here on the T100 World Tour. He finished your day here at the Grand Final in third in that epic battle with Kyle Smith, and there was so much drama in that battle. Mathis Margirier, aggressive from the front, fifth position he ended up in. Justus Nieschlag, he got called up 5 days before this race and still finished sixth, competing against guys who dedicated their whole season to this one day. That is impressive. Fred Funk, the magic man, what a week it's been from him. Married, 7th place here in the biggest race of the year. Magnus Ditlev, ever consistent. Oh, what battles he fought out there today. He did it all solo to finish 8th. Hugely admirable. Peter Hemrich, he fights all day. And Sam Long, well, no one's done the T100 World Tour tougher than him, but what a commendable achievement from him to finish top 10 here at the Grand Final. What a moment there for the brand new world champion, Martin van Riel. Winning today, he cemented his spot at the top of the overall standings in 2024, his first ever World Championship crown. Kyle Smith, well, he held on for second place despite dropping back to 4th today at Dubai. A massive year from Kyle Smith, a breakthrough year. You can see the gap though, 42 points to Martin van Riel. Martin van Riel almost in a league of his own this year and proving why he deserved today's title. Rico Bogan, he was involved in that famous run battle in San Francisco with Martin van Riel. And again, he was his final competition and final hurdle to overcome for Martin van Riel, finishing in third. Magnus Ditlev, ever consistent in 4th. Alistair Brownlee, everyone's favourite, the fan favourite. What a race from him today, finishing on the podium and walking up to 5th place in the standing. Sam Long, well, no one does it tougher and he finishes 6th. Mathis Margirier races aggressively from the front, 7th place. Peter Hemrich, well, yeah, no one digs deeper on the run than him, and he's done it multiple times this year to finishing 8th. Yuri Killen, our Singapore champion, he finishes in 9th, and his rival and the magic man, Fred Funk, well, he has done it and got inside the top 10. That was his big goal from the year.